Hello, everyone. In today's episode, we talk beyond just strength and muscle mass and into metabolic and hormonal health that can be available to you through the perfect workout. Please enjoy.
Welcome to the Perfect Workout podcast, where fitness meets simplicity. I'm Kyle Recchia, CEO of The Perfect Workout. I'm joined by Jim Keene, our Director of Training. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 6. They can't stop us now. The momentum's here.
We did it.
Yep.
6 of them.
Best of luck.
It's a franchise now.
That's right. So we promised that we're going to go a little bit deeper in some of these things. And our philosophy in these podcasts is try to keep these things super short, super concise, and just give some quick tips and education that people can go, oh, cool. We're overcoming some of those barriers, just like the reason the perfect workout exists, to exercise. But at the same time, knowledge is power. And so getting a little deeper into some of these things is important. Just like we talked about in the last episode, if you're using some piece of technology and you don't know that it affords something, it benefits you in a certain way, then it might as well not do that. So a few of these episodes coming up, including today, we're just going to go deeper with Mr. Keene here on some of the extra benefits that you get from strength training outside of just, which is huge, VO2, bone density, muscle, hypertrophy. I can say that better next time. Yeah. Etc. So, right? That's not water in my can here. So today's topic, metabolic and hormonal health. Jim, take it away.
So, like you're saying, everybody realizes, okay, I'm doing strength training. I'm going to get stronger. And then I'm going to develop my muscles, their size and their shape, and some of the other stuff we've talked about. But there's so much more going on under the hood that the same thing you said about if someone doesn't know something's happening, it might as well not be doing it. So a lot of people, well, I'll even zoom out further. In America and in the world, there's basically an epidemic of metabolic disorder, metabolic disease. So this is diabetes, this is hypertension, blood pressure. This is an inability to handle and control blood sugar and glucose. This is a dysregulation of insulin and insulin signaling, high levels of inflammatory cytokines and interleukin-6 and other inflammatory markers that you can measure in the blood. Your blood lipids, your highly sensitive C-reactive protein that they measure to track your system-wide inflammation. All of these things it's a constellation of things that can be understood as your metabolic health, your metabolic flexibility, how all the parts work with each other and the interchange. So something that strength training does, we'll start with like images because we all think in pictures. So if somebody has pre-metabolic syndrome or pre-diabetes, and if you have more than 30, 40, 50 pounds on you, you are to some degree insulin resistant and you have some manner of metabolic dysfunction. So think of that like a bathtub that's overflowing. You have the faucet, that's the food you're eating, that's going into the tub, and then you don't have any mechanism by which you can pull the drain plug. So your body can store fat almost infinitely, and it can store sugar coming in as glycogen. And glycogen is just the storage form of glucose. So think of the plastic little monkey toys that all clink together. That's glycogen. And when it's time to burn one of them, the body removes one of the monkeys, does glycolysis. So lysis is to cleave, sugar, cleaving sugar off of the monkey chain and grabbing one of them. And there's a bing, 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 like a Plinko. Yeah. It's like a game of Plinko. Doot, 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 doot. And each one is a combustion that produces ATP right now, fight or flight, in the cytosol, anaerobically, without oxygen, just right now. And that is what we do in strength training, burning the sugar. So what that does is pull the drain plug on the bathtub so that finally the water level can begin to drop. Now that water level in our analogy is the excess energy and the excess sugar coming in. And if you don't do anything with it, it'll overflow, and the bathtub overflows and gums up the works in so many different ways. Your body can take that overflow and turn it into fat in the liver, fat around the pancreas, fat around the heart, subcutaneous fat under your skin. And all of these things contribute to the metabolic syndrome, that metabolic problem I was describing before. So strength training is incredibly potent for a few reasons at preventing this, at reversing this. The first thing is just physical. You burn sugar very, very rapidly with our workouts that are very intense. So you're performing strength training at a high level of effort, and you're burning that sugar faster and faster and faster, emptying your reservoirs of sugar in the body, your largest skeletal muscles. So our bathtubs are being emptied. The drain plug is being pulled, such that even if you don't change anything with the diet, the faucets are still on. In other words, it gets to go somewhere instead of overflowing. So that's the first thing. And it also happens independent of insulin. So there's transporters inside all of our cells that travel from the nucleus to the cell membrane to take in sugar. They only are active after muscle contraction. So without that muscle contraction, the only way the sugar can get somewhere out of the bloodstream is using insulin. So that still works, but if you have powerful muscle contractions, it sensitizes the muscle cells to take in sugar even when insulin's not there, so it doesn't stress the pancreas. So in response to powerful muscular contractions, the body wants to soak up the sugar from the blood. We're burning the sugar in the muscles, and all of this has a potent series of downstream effects. And less sugar in the blood means less inflammation, fewer cytokines. The system can finally just relax a little bit. So this metabolic cascade effect that happens from serious, intense strength training, we'll just say if there was a pill that could do this, it would be billions of dollars per year in revenue, or an injection or something. There's not. Closest thing we have is a non-invasive outpatient procedure we can do. Takes about 20 minutes or a few times a week. But so that metabolic and hormonal health piece of strength training, it starts there, but also androgens, your testosterone, your growth hormone, that is provoked by, and those are all pulsatile. You don't just have one level of these things. There's a pulsatile, like in the middle of the night, that's when we get our big growth hormone spike. And we'll talk about sleep coming up in another episode. So long as you've done it right, you get that big spike in growth hormone. But when you're doing high intensity, or I should say high effort contractions with muscle, especially using large compound movements, the more muscle mass, the better in this for this purpose, your levels of testosterone and growth hormone over time can rise, especially in step 2 of that 3-step process I talked about. You damage and deplete your muscles in your body during the workout. As part of the recovery process, your body will increase your androgens and your recovery chemicals. So in order to get that going, it's still just the same workout, but it's doing all these things you maybe didn't know it was doing. You think you're just, I'm getting stronger, which is cool. But you are fixing your metabolic overflowing bathtub. You are increasing your androgens. You're reducing your inflammation. Your entire metabolic picture, everything the doctor would take your blood work and look at, all that is getting a lot better. So these are just some of the things that are the metabolic and hormonal consequences of these high effort muscular contractions against resistance in the studios.
So